Grab a cup of tea or a glass of wine and tune in for Inspired Conversations with publisher Linda Joy. On Tuesdays at 2 p.m. Eastern, Linda creates sacred space for leading female luminaries, empowering authors, heart-centered female entrepreneurs, coaches, and healers. A soulful venue where guests openly share the fears and obstacles they've overcome, wisdom and lessons learned, and the personal journey that led them to the transformational work they do in the world. Inspired Conversations to empower you on your path to authentic, soulful living.
Welcome to Inspired Conversations. I'm your host, Linda Joy, publisher of Aspire Magazine, the premier inspirational magazine for over 10 years. I'm also the best-selling publisher behind the boutique publishing company InspiredLivingPublishing.com, which is dedicated to giving visionary female entrepreneurs, coaches, and health practitioners a voice and a high-profile media and publishing platform to share their wisdom, enhance their expert status, and bring their brand and inspiring message out of the shadows. All of my brands, including today's show, are dedicated to inspiring women to live their best lives. So welcome. I'm so glad that you joined me and my special guest. Did you know that tuning into the natural world can help you create a richer and more meaningful life? Aligning with nature can also develop your manifestation capacity. Dancing with the rhythms of creation allow you to bring your juicy life, business, and prosperity intentions into form. Today, that's what we're going to be talking about and so much more. And you're going to learn how aligning with nature can enhance your intuition, creation abilities, and enhance your visionary gifts. Joining me today is one of my dear friends, Lisa Michaels of lisa-michaels.com. Lisa teaches conscious alignment with nature to help visionary women dynamically increase their intuition and their creation abilities. As a successful entrepreneur herself for over 25 years, Lisa has been applying these principles to her own life and business while receiving powerful, proven results. Learn to live a life of joy and passion that aligns with your goals, with your values, and lead you to consciously create a prosperous life and business, one that has meaning and intention. Welcome, Lisa.
Oh, Linda Joy, it's such a pleasure to be here with you today.
I've always loved our time together. We've been circling up. God sent some. Aspire came into the online world from print, so I'm going back probably about 2009 or 10 when our paths first crossed, and I started following your work and your wisdom, and we've had a great friendship since then. And, you know, I love doing calls and sharing your wisdom with my audience because I love what you teach.
Thank you. And you've helped so many women in the world. It's just appreciated on multiple levels. So thank you for all you do.
Well, you know what? Like you, Lisa, when I know something can help someone, I have to share it, right? So when I was blessed with this media platform between the mag, the books, the radio, I said, how can I use it to elevate the vibration in women's lives? How can I help empower them? And I said, I know what I can do. I can shine the spotlight on, I'm going to cry, an extraordinary woman like you who are doing such sacred work in the world in your own way to elevate the vibration. So that's why I call what I do a positive media platform, right? Absolutely. And then I bring on women like you to say, come on, let's share our gifts, let's share our resources, let's share our wisdom to remind women of their truth, their power, their value.
Yeah. The more we uplift women on the planet, the more we uplift the children, the communities. We really uplift everything. So I'm so dedicated to that myself. So thank you for all that you do.
Oh, you're welcome. So I want to dive right in because when you hear the term conscious alignment, you and I may know what that means. But for those who are listening who are new to this language, let's start with how does conscious alignment with nature help women increase their creation abilities?
Well, the more a woman really spends time connecting consciously to the natural world, the more she connects to her inner nature. You see, the forces of creation that function in the outer world as the elemental forces, they work in similar ways internally. So when we're aligned with them, we can learn from them, we can be guided by them, and their principles can help us be more mindful in whatever it is that we're creating in our lives. So let's take water, for example. Water's the element, and you feel it in the natural world, lakes and rivers, the shower, the water you drink, it's nurturing, and you need it. I mean, we just had a drought in the South, and I mean, wow, could we tell how much we needed water. So this element that really helps nourish things to spring them to life, when it functions in the inner terrain, that's your emotional realm. You need a connection to where your emotions are, to really having your emotions being what I call clear, clean, and current. That means that any old emotional baggage has been cleared out, so you're functioning emotionally in the current place where you are in your life. Let's say your inner child or your inner adolescence, not, wreaking havoc on what you're doing, so that you stand in that emotionally mature place of today, and you can create from a real clear sense of, this is what I want to magnetize in my life now. This is what I want to bring forth from a really conscious way. So every element actually has a way that it functions outwardly and inwardly. But again, that depth of connection, that alignment, helps you again to be deeply connected to who you are internally, your inner nature.
So beautiful the way you describe it, and when you tie it all together in the way that you do, it just makes perfect sense. It's like you know truth when you hear it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. The cells definitely know truth when they hear it. Absolutely.
Now, I know that a lot of the work that you do is helping women listen to and trust their intuition. So how does aligning with nature, which is a lot of what your teachings are, impact a woman's intuition and help them to become more of a visionary thinker, of a feeling more like a visionary?
Well, when you tap into each elemental force and you learn to listen to the messages that they're giving you, then you develop intuition on a lot of levels. So when you tap into earth, which is the physical realm, it's the ground that we are blessed to walk upon. Mother Earth, she blesses us with food and the homes that we live in. I mean, all of those resources are from the Earth Mother. When we understand how she functions, when we're connected to her cycles and her seasons and the natural processes of life, and really I want to say the cycle that includes death as well, because destruction is also a part of creation. When we are aligned with that, we start to get this intuition that's about the physical world. What does my body need, which is my personal earth? When you learn to listen and tap in and tune in, that increases your intuition in that way. Now, how would that help you? How does that translate besides the body into what you're doing in the world? Well, if you're a business owner, for instance, then you can tap into the earthly realm when it comes to structuring and forming your business, when it comes to laying out your radio show or what your book is going to be. That's all physical connection to how something gets structured and formed. If you're a mom, and you're tapped in at the physical level and you know how to be tuned in intuition, then when there's something physically wrong with your child, you have intuition about that. When there's somebody's gardening and they're tapped in there, that can be intuition for growing things. So there's that physical realm intuition. We talked about water and the emotional realm. You know, water took me a long time to understand all the ways that it worked in terms of emotional development. And certainly these forces of creation are huge. I'm not by any means saying that I know all of it, but it's a big teacher. And it took me a while to really see, you know, how does the ego work in creation, and how do I tap more deeply into the intuitive place where imagination meets my intention, and to call things forth from the formless into form. Then there's the intuition of the air realm and, you know, how we get creative ideas and access to that. And then there's the fire realm and spirit. I mean, so there are multiple levels of intuition, and tapping in to each of those places helps a woman to grow it and to develop their intuition on each of these levels easily.
And I want to talk about that more when we come back from our break. I'd love to dive in a little deeper into the four elements. So I already know that water is the emotional realm, but for our listeners, let's give a quick overview when we come back of the four elements and what aspects of our being they affect. And we'll be back in a moment with Lisa Michaels of lisa-michaels.com.
A conscious lifestyle for a mindful life. OMTimes Radio. IOM FM.
Inspiration for a woman's soul. Aspire Magazine, inspiring and supporting women on the path of self-discovery. Claim your free digital subscription today, which includes access to thousands of dollars of personal development bonus gifts from Team Inspiration partners. Claim your Aspire Magazine subscription today at subscribetoaspire.com.
Are you trying to get from point A to point B and need a little advice? Connect with the counselors at OMTimes Advisors. Whether you're looking for a life coach or a spiritual intuitive, the advisors participating at advisors.omtimes.com were carefully chosen based on their gifts, skills, and professionalism. OMTimes Advisors, connecting you with the best advisors in the business.
Do you have time to read that inspiring book or that blog post you've been meaning to get to? In your busy world, how do you improve yourself and keep your life going? I'm Lisa Kay, and my Between Heaven and Earth radio show can transform your life just by listening. Be uplifted with inspiring topics, positive stories, and ideas that really work. Between Heaven and Earth Radio is conscious living for your soul, every Wednesday at 4 p.m. Eastern Time.
Hey, America, we need to have a little talk. We've got more food than we know what to do with in this country, yet 17 million kids in America are struggling with hunger. Makes no sense. Luckily, the Feeding America nationwide network of food banks has volunteers gathering excess food and getting it to hungry kids. They're kind of like food angels. Hey, become a food angel yourself by supporting Feeding America in your local food bank at feedingamerica.org. We can't do it without your help. Brought to you by Feeding America and the Ad Council.
This is OTR-FM, part of the IOM Radio Network.
Welcome back to Inspired Conversations. This is your host, Linda Joy, and with me today is Lisa Michaels. And right before the break, Lisa and I were talking about how to tap into nature to enhance your own intuition and become more visionary in your thinking and your manifestations. And as we discussed, and you lightly touched on, Lisa, there's multiple realms, and you talked about water and how it is our emotional realm, but you also mentioned fire and earth and spirit. Could we quickly discuss what those elements each relate to, and maybe this will help everyone understand it even more deeply?
Absolutely. So earth is the physical realm. Water is the emotional realm. Air is the mental realm. Fire is the realm of action. Also energy and rhythm is in the fire level. And in each element, there are many ways that it expresses. Spirit is our connection to the divine source. And it's the way that that divine source, too, connects to the feminine essence and the masculine essence. So there's another level of intuition at each one of these realms. So let's take air, for instance. In the mental realm, this is the ideal realm. This is the place where you get clarity on the way that you are going to direct the elemental forces, to make decisions about what ideas you want to bring into form, to get clarity and to open to guidance from the invisible world. I mean, you don't see air, but words work, So, and positive words make a difference in terms of uplifting people. So that's a really huge way that intuition works in the mental realm. And then in the fire realm, where's your energy going? Like, where is it leaking that's not effective for you? Where is it strengthening you? How do you pull your energy back to take action on your own behalf? There's a level of intuition about energy too, and how it's functioning in your life. And then opening up to spirit opens you up to the source of all that is. So you get this deep alignment internally that's really powerful for a solid core of knowing where your essence is and what it is that you want to move out then into the world of manifest form.
Such a beautiful description. Now, are we always searching for balance between them all, or is it just organic that we're always going to be flowing between all of them?
Well, I think it's important to understand how they each function individually. Just like when you go out in nature, you can really tune in to the earth separate from the water, separate from the sky and the air, separate from the sun. You can feel them all different, but they're all there. So they all work together all the time. So the same thing's true in your life. Like, you may need to tune into your emotions today because you can feel them moving. Maybe you have grief, or maybe something just moves you at the soul level, or you're frustrated. Like, you may need to tap into that. But they're still all influencing and impacting each other all the time. Like, how you are feeling emotionally is impacting your body, or what your thoughts are doing are impacting your emotions. So it's kind of a little bit of both, actually.
So, like, for example, say I'm working on a project and I know that I have to birth it. I would want to tap into my fire energy, right, and to get it done. But I would want to, at the time I'm creating it and receiving the inspiration, I would be working with spirit and divine energy. It's like, can you call in the energies that you need at the time?
Definitely. You can call in the energy that you need at the time. And, when you're using that fiery action to get it birthed and get it moved in, you also want to be connected to earth, because the timing needs to be organic. You need to have your passion behind you to fuel you, or otherwise just action's going to dry you out. So there's a place where, yes, you can call in one, and at the same time, you're going to need all of them.
I have a question. It's just something that was downloaded to me. Are some of these fall into the feminine category and some fall into the masculine? Like, I'm feeling energetically like the fire energy would be more the masculine energy. Is that true, masculine, how they're broken down like that? Because as you were speaking, I was feeling like I could feel that.
Yeah, absolutely. Air and fire are the masculine elements, and earth and water are the feminine ones. So when they work together, that's when your masculine and your feminine energies are working together. Now, sometimes women need to really move into the feminine because maybe they've just been thinking and taking action. That's the masculine realm. And when they do too much of that, they get all dried out. Like that's when somebody's experiencing burnout. So they need to come and be really in their body and be really with their feelings and really do deep self-care. And then when they come back, they can balance the two more so that they're taking action in the world from an embodied place connected to their feelings. And so they're being nourished by their inner feminine while they're taking action in the outer world.
I love it. And I use the words with my clients. I use being and doing, which is the same, right? It's masculine and feminine.
Absolutely.
Are you spending too much time doing that you're forgetting how to be? And I think that comes up a lot with a lot of my clients because they're all spiritual entrepreneurs. And like myself, and I don't know if this was your truth, Lisa, I had to learn that balance because there was another business I had in the 90s that, as I'm looking at all my notes from our chat, I was so much in air and fire that that's exactly what I did. I burned myself out. I didn't know how to stop and to just be. And now I feel so in balance, and I make sure I take time to be. So those are the words that came up for me is like that. It's like that. It's a dance.
Absolutely is a dance, and we need them both because if we just are always being, and I don't think there's anything wrong with that, but if that's where we are, then we're not actually additionally making our contribution into the world. And then if we're always doing, then we're not coming from that deep, deep centered place that makes a difference from our doing coming from that place internally.
So true, and I can share an experience that the listeners may relate to. As I just shared, in the 90s when I had my other business for 11 years, I was so, I guess you would say, in the masculine. I had so much to prove. I was driven. I was working 16, 17-hour days. Sometimes I'd sleep at my store, and I didn't know how to take care of myself. Then of course, my body shut down. I went through a lot of health issues, and that was my wake-up call. But what happened, Lisa, is I stepped on the spiritual and personal development path, and for a few years I went way the other end of the spectrum. I went so far into the feminine that I was always up there. Does that make sense? And couldn't figure out why I couldn't manifest in the physical. And I was always creative, but I couldn't manifest abundance and success, even though from the outside looking in, it looked like I had that. And then Aspire and this whole family of brands we're now, I say we because my babies, they're 10 years old now. And in that 10 years, I would say it was in the last 5 years that my spiritual path led me to come into balance. And that moment I did, that moment that I learned the dance between the masculine and the feminine, my business went through the roof, my abundance went through the roof, but more than that, I felt like I was living authentically. Now, do you hear that from a lot of the entrepreneurs that you work with?
I absolutely do, and I've actually witnessed, and I can usually tell when I talk to somebody which one of those is out of sync. Have they gone so far into the feminine and they're not manifesting anymore and they need to bring their masculine back on board, or are they burned out and crispy and they need to get into their feminine? Yes, you can definitely tell. I see that imbalance a lot, and what I also do is really help them to come back into the wholeness of the matrix of really having that deep connection to both, because that's where creation and manifestation really occur, in that intersection.
Yeah, well, I know that's been my truth, and a lot of the spiritual entrepreneurs, a lot of coaches, health practitioners that follow my brands or that are private clients. It's a conversation that comes up over and over again is, how do you balance it, Linda? And I said, you have to start tuning into your truth, into your body, into your soul, and listen. Not listen to the outside world, not listen to the shoulds, the musts, but listen to what your soul is telling you, because it will always lead you the right way.
Always.
Yeah, and then this whole conversation, bringing nature into the personal work we do on ourselves, is such an important part. And it's probably only been I've been following you for years and many others who follow the nature path. And it's only been, I'd say, the last 3 or 4 years that I've been diving deeper into feeling that for myself and experiencing it for myself and incorporating it into my life in my unique ways. And we're going to take a quick break, and when we come back in a moment, Lisa, I want to talk about, because so many women have so many gifts to share, right? They are here to start businesses, or maybe they already have one, and it doesn't matter what kind of business it is, but I want to talk when we come back about what ways the forces of creation can help a woman grow their business. And we'll be back in a moment with Lisa Michaels of lisa-michaels.com.
Free your mind. Expand your soul. OMTimes Radio. IOM FM.
Isn't it time for you to listen to your own internal compass, your intuition, rather than listening to all those around you? When you learn how to navigate using your intuition, you'll discover how to hear your soul's whispers, so you live a life of purpose, joy, and abundance. Soulwise Living mentor Laura Clark provides women with the empowering tools and support to help them tame their inner critic, calm their emotions, and ground themselves so they can hear, trust, and act upon their inner guidance. If you're ready to awaken your intuition, visit soulwiseliving.com to schedule a complimentary Sacred Soul chat, read Laura's inspiring blog posts, and discover an array of free supportive resources.
OMTimes Magazine is one of the leading online content providers of positivity, wellness, and personal empowerment. A philanthropic organization, their net proceeds are funneled to support worldwide charity initiatives via Humanity Healing International. Through their commitment to creating community and providing conscious content, they aspire to uplift humanity on a global scale. OMTimes, co-creating a more conscious lifestyle.
Hi everyone, this is Shay Parker, the host of Best of the Best, which airs live right here on IOM Radio every Tuesday night at 8 p.m. Eastern and 5 p.m. Pacific. I'm super excited to bring you expert guest hosts, spiritual discussions, free psychic readings, and so much more. I can promise that you will not want to miss this one-of-a-kind, fun, yet touching, down-to-earth show. Join us every Tuesday night at 8 p.m. Eastern, 9 p.m. Pacific on OTR-FM. This is Shay Parker, and I can't wait to see you there.
The number one reason girls drop out of school in sub-Saharan Africa is lack of access to feminine hygiene products. The Pads for Schoolgirls Project, an outreach of Humanity Healing International, is changing this paradigm by setting up sewing programs at schools, teaching girls a vocational skill, while producing the reusable pads that help keep them attending classes. The girls pay it forward by making and giving pad kits to other girls in need. To learn more, visit humanityhealing.org. Humanity Healing is where your heart is. Free your mind. Expand your soul. OMTimes Radio. IOM FM.
Welcome back to Inspired Conversations. I'm your host, Linda Joy, and joining me today is Lisa Michaels, and we're talking about nature and creativity and tapping into the elements of nature to enhance our life, our intuition, and our success. And right before break, I asked Lisa, and to explain what ways the forces of creation can help women grow their businesses.
Yeah, absolutely. Love to share that. I mean, just using the forces of creation to bring anything into manifest form is super fun. But I don't know, maybe it's because I've been an entrepreneur so long. I love applying it to business. And I think one of the key things is connecting when you start off with anything that you're going to bring in, whether it's taking your business to the next level, starting a business, whatever it is, to really tap into the objective that you have behind whatever you're doing. Like, what is your soul telling you that needs to happen? Where do you need to expand? What do you want it to be like? And once you really get connected to your essence there and what your soul is really wanting to bring forth, then you start really allowing the ideal realm of air to inform you. And you're just going to be with the ideas that flow. Don't have to pick any particular way to start with. You're just going to open to it. And you'll begin to know and to feel into which one of the ideas that you're getting really have substance in the realm of creation. Like it's really, these ideas are really in alignment of what my objective or intention is next to have happen in my business. A lot of times I talk to business owners and they're all wobbly. They don't know what they want to do. But they haven't actually defined where they want to be. So they can't, like the other elements can't come into alignment until they know. So once you start having these deeper ideas, then you can start putting those ideas into structure and form. All right, how does it work when we lay it down in the calendar? What's the shape it's going to take? What are the systems for tracking it that need to be in place? Like what needs to happen? Let's just say you've got a physical, tangible product. What needs to happen to get the magazine delivered on time? You know, what are the steps that need to be taken? You bring the earth realm in, and it doesn't always have to go in this order, but we need to include all these pieces. Then you get into the feeling realm and this place where you are imagining and feeling the fulfillment of whatever the success is that you want this to have in the outer world. And you're consistently taking rhythmic action, really energizing your creations. You're using fire to add momentum. It's kind of like putting a log on a fire. You know, the fire is going to go out if you don't keep putting logs on it. So you've got to keep the momentum going to really keep your business growing, or whatever it is that you're bringing into manifest form with your business, to really stoke that fire to get it to happen. And sometimes in life, the fire it goes dim. I mean, I had a couple of years where, you know, my mother was sick and then she died, and so I didn't have as much energy for my business. I kept it going, but it was kind of soft. And then once things got back, I could put more, you know, logs on my fire to get it revved up again. So we have those cycles within our business, within our lives, but utilizing all the forces can really help something take off with intention, with consciousness, calling on whichever one of the elements we need in that time and space to get that manifestation matrix moving and get it going.
I love all your descriptions because you use just different words than I do, but as you're describing how business owners can incorporate nature and the energies of it into their business, as you were speaking, I'm like, I do that. I just don't use the language you use, right? But like you, Lisa, I have an intention behind everything that I do. So I tap into that. I know what I want to birth, and I trust my intention, and I follow it. So say I receive the divine download, which would be, if I'm correct, that would be spirit when you receive the inspiration. So I receive, and sometimes I don't, because I've been doing this so long, I've learned to trust that, right? And I'm like, okay, that's what I'm meant to do. But like you said, if I didn't do the steps and put the logs on the fire, it would just flame out. So sometimes I have a project in mind through divine inspiration. I don't know the end result. I only know that I'm just going to continue to take baby steps to nurture this seed that was placed in my heart. Could be a new book project. It doesn't matter what the it is. And then, like you said, Lise, I take little steps. Like I recently received that I'm going to step back into event production. Before Aspire was a digital mag. I was for 4 years. I was a print mag and producing large women's events. Recently I received, okay, you're stepping back into live events. Now the other part of me was like, no, don't do that. But I'm not pushing, right? I'm allowing. So do you ever do that? Like I know that that's the direction I'm going. I don't have to know what the event will look like. I've already started looking at event locations. So that's, to me, keeping the log on the fire, right? Just taking baby steps and allowing it to naturally unfold without forcing it. Is that a part of the creation process too? Not pushing with ego, but trusting and allowing that each step that you intuitively take, that's I call it inspired action, is going to bring you to where you're meant to be if you're not trying to force it into into a box, I guess.
Well, absolutely, because what you're just describing is really the feminine process of birthing, and things have to gestate. Now, you may be guided to take actions during those gestation period, and you probably are, because that's what in the outer world helps build the shape and form. But if you're really trusting that deep feminine essence and you're taking those actions, it absolutely will organically unfold when the time is right. And it prevents that kind of pushing that comes from, somebody trying to force a birth or, make it so, which again is the part that can drain the feminine of her real deep creative nature. I think the highest, most easeful things come from that place of really allowing them to unfold as opposed to forcing them to fit in a certain way. So I think that's beautiful, Linda.
Well, one of the things that I'm sure you've noticed is when we live from that place and don't force, it's almost, and just live from trusting. Like, I know it's going to happen at the end of 2017, early 2018. Do I have to know the month, the location? No. It's just an intuitive knowing of when it will happen. But when I first made the internal decision to trust that that's where I'm being led, don't you love when the universe suddenly sends you a sign, or a validation, right, that you're on the right path? And that happened for me a couple of weeks ago. I had just received, the download, and I walk into an art class. I had no idea who else was going to be there. And 6 of the 7 women, I walk in, and they were all speakers, women I haven't seen since 2009, since I left print and went digital. 6 of the 7 were all speakers or vendors from all of my live events. I walked in, and they were like, "Oh, my God, we've missed you, and where's your event?" So they're all spiritual, of course, like me. And I said, "Are you kidding me?" So they said, "You have events? There's no one that has done it that brought the energy and intention." And I remember looking up. I'm in this woman's kitchen. I look up, and I call it soul giggles. When you know that the divine is supporting you, to have 6 of those 7 women, and they spoke at every one of my events.
Wow.
That's the kind of, and I share that story because I think a lot of women and entrepreneurs, they get signs all the time, but they're so in their head or so into their ego where it's like, it has to be this way, and they're not seeing the universe going, honey, if you go this way, let me introduce you to this person, or here's the missing piece you need. Is that something you come across a lot too?
Absolutely. And, sometimes for me, actually, not that long ago, I was introduced to another aspect of business that I added into my business. And when I first did it, I wasn't sure what it was all about. But what I see is how much it's helped me unfold in so many other ways and supported me through the journey of these last couple of years as there was deeper transformation. But a lot of times people will close off, and I've seen this in myself too in the past. So, no criticism, but just noticing that they'll close off to new ideas, which might be the very thing that Spirit is bringing them to help get them to the next place. And if they would just open up a little bit more and be willing to try something new and to follow where they're guided to go, even though they don't know how it's going to totally outpicture, they would have totally different results.
Yeah, and it's such a moment that you recognize when it's happening, and I'm looking at the time, and Lisa and I are pre-recording this because of my schedule, Lisa, and it's 11:11 right now, and I believe, again, that's no accident either. And one of the things, Well, I think we'll jump to break first because I don't want to interrupt the flow of our conversation. And we'll be back in a moment with Lisa Michaels of lisa-michaels.com.
A conscious lifestyle for a mindful life. OMTimes Radio. IOM FM.
What if you could live the life of your dreams, the life that you came here to live? What if you were able to honor your gifts and passions, turn them into a heart-centered business, and make a big difference in the world, all while living authentically and doing the work you love? It is possible. Patricia Young, president and founder of InnerProsperityAcademy.com, knows that awakening to your own truth, aligning with your life purpose, and having your own business is one of the most exciting and courageous things you will ever do in your life. Patricia helps spiritual, sensitive, and growth-oriented women start, grow, or transition into a business they love so they can go from working for a paycheck to working for a mission. For supportive resources, programs, and more to help you do just that, visit InnerProsperityAcademy.com.
This is Terry Van Horn, and I want to invite you to join me for my weekly radio show, Healing Light, on OMTimes Radio every Wednesday at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. On Healing Light, we want to bring love, light, and blessings into your world. You can find out more about us at www.healinglightonline.com. Blessings.
OMTimes Magazine is one of the leading online content providers of positivity, wellness, and personal empowerment. A philanthropic organization, their net proceeds are funneled to support worldwide charity initiatives via Humanity Healing International. Through their commitment to creating community and providing conscious content, they aspire to uplift humanity on a global scale. OMTimes, co-creating a more conscious lifestyle. The number one reason girls drop out of school in sub-Saharan Africa is lack of access to feminine hygiene products. The Pads for Schoolgirls Project, an outreach of Humanity Healing International, is changing this paradigm by setting up sewing programs at schools, teaching girls a vocational skill, while producing the reusable pads that help keep them attending classes. The girls pay it forward by making and giving pad kits to other girls in need. To learn more, visit humanityhealing.org. Humanity Healing is where your heart is. A conscious lifestyle for a mindful life. OMTimes Radio. IOM FM.
You're listening to Inspired Conversations. I'm your host, Linda Joy, and joining me today is Lisa Michaels of lisa-michaels.com. And Lisa, I want to dive into, I know that so many women who follow this show, your brand, my brand, they really have a deep desire to lead a life of meaning and intention. And how can nature help them find that deeper meaning that they're yearning for?
Well, I think the time that you spend in the natural world, first of all, when you go out in nature, you are in the living field of creation. And if you go out in nature and consciously open to that living field of creation, and you tap into the essence there, you don't even have to be thinking too much about it, but just ask for that to be open to you. As you allow yourself to just be in that energetic field of creation, you will start, like your soul will start to get in more of alignment with what is the deeper meaning and purpose for you, and how the next level of your intuition evolves. It will really inform you. Because I go back to what I said in the very, very beginning. Being in nature connects you more deeply to your inner nature. And that sounds like a really simple thing, but when you really tap into it, it brings tremendous depth to everything that you experience in life and helps you to have that meaning and to bring that meaning forth and to tap into the multiple levels of intuition that you have available to you. When you really also get into sync with the rhythms of the sun, the year, the seasons of the year, and you tap into the rhythms of the moon, again, because you're aligned with the natural world, it aligns something deep inside of you. So that place of intuition about, is this the time for something, starts to be more of where you come from internally, as opposed to just your mind saying, well, I think we'll do it in September. You know, your beingness starts to know that, like you said, it's going to be late September, or it's going to be late 2017 or early 2018. Like, you just start to get this sense of deeper timing because of that depth of alignment with who you are and how you're experiencing the world.
And, you know, I find that sometimes for us spiritual entrepreneurs, especially as online entrepreneurs, we spend a lot of time at our computer, you know, at our desk. And I know I'm in New England, and I love that time of year when I can go outside, take my work outside and move my office outside, because I can feel it actually grounding me, right? And it energizing me. And one of the things that I've discovered is when I take the time to be and to incorporate nature, whether it's sitting outside, even if it's taking a 5-minute walk. I have a whole wooded area near my home. I found that it helps my intuition. It helps me get clear on my intentions. And it's become such an important part of my life. Now, I'm human. All of a sudden, 3 days will go by, and I'm like, oh, my God, I haven't hugged a tree, or I haven't sat outside. Yeah. And I have to consciously remind myself of the importance of it in my life. And I know that's probably human nature, that, we forget what we know. But as long as we always come back to it and come back to our truth, I think, or I believe, that that's the best any of us can do. Just keep coming back to our truth.
Absolutely. Absolutely. No question about it. It's kind of like a dancer. You may have some bad days in the dance studio, but as long as you're coming back to class, you're going to get realigned and you're going to get back on your own rhythm. So absolutely, just realigning, not making yourself bad or wrong about it. Just get back in alignment. Absolutely.
I think in the last few moments, I want to talk about everyone's favorite subject, prosperity. So how can tuning into the rhythms of nature help women generate more prosperity?
Well, being in sync with every one of the realms, one of the biggest realms that I think a lot of times blocks prosperity, and I'll just give a little bit about each one, but one of the biggest ones is feelings. When women feel bad about what they've done, or they've had shame with how they've manifested prosperity, or they have, some place about where they feel like they're not manifesting enough, that closes the valve to prosperity. So clearing emotions really makes a difference. Another place where I've seen that really helps is really connecting to the earth realm and having clear tracking systems. One of the things I've seen with a lot of spiritual entrepreneurs is that they don't know what they need to manifest. They don't have any place to track it. They somehow think they need to be more prosperous, but they don't have those systems in place for how the earth realm can help them really, know where they're going and know what they're doing with where they are in their prosperity. And then there's the air realm. If your belief system is that, yes, you want to create 6 figures, but you don't believe you can, then there's this place where that's not working harmoniously. So you have to get your thoughts and your words and your intentions lined up, your beliefs. And then there's the fire realm. And a lot of times with prosperity with the fire realm, let's just take one little aspect. Let's take marketing. If women are not marketing their business, if they're not out having visibility, if they're not in a rhythm with that, then they're not going to have enough business coming in, so their prosperity is going to suffer. If they're not tapped into their essence and their spirit and their core connection to all that is, then they're going to have a hard time even knowing what to do or where to go to create prosperity. So each one of the elements connect and help women get into a more prosperous state. And the more they work with each one of them, the more they learn how they function, the more they align with them consciously in their prosperity, the more they can create it.
I love it. You've shared so much juicy information that I want to remind everyone to visit lisa-michaels.com, because you have so many resources there, including a free gift and other amazing products and services that I really encourage you to visit Lisa, learn more, follow her on Facebook, and on this page at OMTimes, on the show page, you'll find out how to connect with Lisa. So, Lisa, I just want to thank you for being here, for always sharing your wisdom so just so wide open how you want to support women in living their best life. So I'm so grateful that we were able to play and connect again today.
Me too, Linda. Thank you so much. And again, on behalf of all the women of the world, thank you for being who you are.
Oh, thank you, Lisa. And I want to thank everyone for joining us for Inspired Conversations. Listen in every Tuesday at 2 p.m. Eastern for more conversations with visionary women just like Lisa, who are here to share their feminine wisdom to support you in living your best life. For even more inspiration, run over to subscribe2aspire.com. Claim your free subscription to Aspire magazine, which includes over 40 transformational gifts. We're celebrating 10 years of providing inspirational resources to women around the world. So until next time, choose love, choose joy, choose happiness. Blessings, everyone.
Thanks for listening to Inspired Conversations with publisher Linda Joy. Join our sacred space every Tuesday at 2 p.m. Eastern and meet leading female visionaries, empowering authors, heart-centered female entrepreneurs, coaches, and healers. Inspired Conversations with Linda Joy is a soulful venue where guests share the obstacles they've overcome, along with wisdom and lessons learned on their personal journey that led them to the transformational work they do in the world. Inspired Conversations to empower you on your path to authentic and soulful living.